Thanks so much for everybody tuning in to the End in Mind today. Super excited to welcome Brian. Thanks so much for being here with us today.
Caitlin, so happy to be here. I'm excited to share my knowledge and get a chance to know you better.
I know you have a wealth of knowledge, and can you just start off by telling us a little bit more about yourself and how you got into what you do today?
Sure. Well, my name is Brian Thompson. I'm the founder of Brian Thompson Financial. We are a business and financial planning business or financial planning outfit that we help mission-driven entrepreneurs run impactful. Oh, sorry, having trouble speaking today. We help mission-driven entrepreneurs run impactful and profitable businesses.
That's amazing. I see so many businesses, and I'm sure you do too, that have funding issues or financial issues. And many of us don't even know that it's happening until it's
Hmm.
too late. Do you find that happens frequently?
Yeah, a lot of people come to me where they just don't have really a sense or clarity around the business that they're building. I was just speaking with somebody this morning that she has mixed all of her business and personal accounts and doesn't feel like she really has a good sense of what's coming in, what's coming out, and how much money she's making, whether she's growing. And so I love that ability to help people get clarity and make sure that they understand what exactly is going on in their business. And it's clarity around their mission, vision, and values. It's also clarity around their bookkeeping systems, their profit and loss statements, their cash flow systems. All of those things we help them get organized and get clear on so they can make sure that they're running both an impactful and profitable business.
It's really invaluable,
Mm,
what you do, because I find when I got into business, I was very young and I was lucky, to have a financial advisor in my life who was
yeah.
very much so on me, about different account setups. And he was like, you don't want to get in a sticky situation and you need to think about taxes and
Hmm.
all of these robust things that being in social media, people don't really talk about online. They just start a business, right? And make
Right,
all this
right.
money, but they don't talk about saving. So I'd love to know your opinion on that. And do you find that clients, are just like totally jaded by the time they start the business and have no clue what's going on?
I mean, I don't know that they're jaded. I just feel like most people come to me where they're really good at something, right? You could be really good at social media marketing. You could be really good at serving entrepreneurs. Like you could be really good at something, but also not know how to run a business. And so that's where we come in to make sure that you are setting the right foundation for your business so you can continue to grow and continue to do the things that you do the best without having to worry about things like taxes or the IRS coming back later on and realizing that you haven't paid taxes for a couple of years. It's really about making sure that people have a good concept of what they're building and making sure that we have a good sense of what their mission, vision, and values are. Where are you trying to go? I always tell clients you can build whatever you want. And so making sure that we're going in that direction and then giving them the fundamentals of saying, all right, so this is where you say you want to go. This is how much money you want to make. This is how many hours a week you want to work. This is how much time you want to spend on yourself or with your friends. Being able to really get a good assessment of where they want to go and helping them get there is what we try to do. And it's again, I don't blame people for this, right? You are really good at what you do, and you have realized that you could make a business out of this, but you don't really know how to do that. So that's why you come to me.
That's wonderful. So you also assist, it sounds like, with the balance of like not just
Mhm.
of the books, but also the balance of lifestyle.
I love that. I think I may steal that. We help you balance your books
Good.
and your mindset. Yeah.
Love
Yeah,
it. That'll be today's episode title.
I love it. Yeah, and I think like I said before we hopped on, I think you do a really great balance of making sure that you talk about mindset. Mindset is so important, and how you approach your business and how you approach your marketing, being able to really make sure that you are going for what you want and not doubting yourself. I listened to your episode about doubting your doubt. I think that's so important to make sure that you have the right mindset going into this and knowing that you can build whatever you want. And that takes thought, that takes intention. And I think that a lot of people get into a business because they are good at something and not really giving much thought to what they're trying to build. So we do help give them that balance of saying, all right, this is not just a business to generate money, it's a business to generate the life that you want. And that includes making sure that you are taking the time off that you want to go, that you want to take off, going on the vacations that you want to go on, treating yourself. I'm a big proponent of working out, making sure that you're getting to the gym every day, making sure that you have that balance in your life and not just keeping track of this money thing. Money's important, money is great, and money helps the business go. But there are other things that you need to balance and keep into account when you're making sure that you're building a successful business.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm a big proponent of working out. I'm also getting married next year. So
Mm.
that's like the top of the list, right? And then everything else
Yeah,
comes after. Because if I
yeah,
don't work out, I start to like lose my head,
same.
when I'm talking with clients. Yeah, it's like my head's in the gym, but I'm like
Yeah.
physically at the laptop.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I have to work out every day, and I like to try to work out in the middle of the day when nobody's at the gym, right? So that feels less stressful
Yeah.
to me. It gives me a good break. I can work in the morning, take a break in the afternoon, work in the evenings. I love it, and I love that I can, as a business owner, I can choose and create whatever work hours that I want to create, and have the clients that I want that allow me to work in those hours. We have the ability to create what we want, and I love it.
Yeah, it really is so cool. And it's cool when we as business owners like practice what we're
Mm,
teaching our clients because
right.
so many times over the years, and no offense or shade to any of the coaches that may not be, I think there's seasons, right? Like in my business, when it's our busy season, sometimes I have to adapt my schedule a bit or be a little bit more, fluid with scheduling. Do you
Right.
find that as well? Do you help your clients manage some of that too?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. One of my core values is leading by example. So I make sure that I'm setting myself up and taking care of myself up or taking care of myself in a way that makes sure that people can see that I'm living, practicing what I preach. That's really, really important to me. And as you tell, there are busy seasons. I prepare taxes, so the first start of the year is always super busy for us, and that's okay. It's never going to be a perfect balance. It's really about synergy and making sure that I'm building what I want, making sure that I'm really still enjoying even during the busy seasons, knowing that this too shall pass, and I will have time in the summer to really take the vacations that I want, go on, the excursions with my friends that I want. Being able to do that and know that it's coming is about the synergy and the balance that I'm trying to create in my business. And like you said, you're getting married. Congratulations, by the way. I just got married in August, and being able to take time off was important to me, right? We went to New
Yeah.
Zealand for a honeymoon, um, and we had some time off after the wedding. Like all of those things, I get to build into my system and create that synergy where I may have to work a little bit harder, but that's okay because I know that there's going to be some balance, and it's all about what I want. It's all about the business that I'm building and not letting things happen to me, and making sure that clients understand you get to decide, you get to choose. And all these shoulds about what I should do or how responsive I should be, that's all stories that you're being told that you don't have to abide by and don't necessarily have to be true. You get to build what you want.
It's so good. Congratulations. New Zealand
Thanks.
sounds wonderful. We're trying to
It's,
figure out where to do our honeymoon too. Do you
yeah,
recommend that? Yeah.
New Zealand is the most beautiful place I've ever seen. And I feel like I've been to a lot of places. It took us a while to get to. It took us a good 24 hours to get there, but it was well worth it. Especially if you like to be outdoors, you like to hike. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds stunning. I want to go back to something that you mentioned and really like this balance of understanding we may have to work a little bit hard to get what we want, especially as an entrepreneur. But there's so many gifts that come, with
Mm.
being a business owner and the choices that I believe that we're provided with. I'd love if you could just expand on some of your choices that you've made over the years to get you to where you are today.
I love thinking of it as a gift, right? The thing that I really discovered when I got into this business was the freedom of choice, the freedom of flexibility, all the freedom that comes along with having the gift of choosing. That's been such a great realization that I didn't really know going into the business. So being able to really understand this thing that we have, that this thing that we get to do is a gift. And it's a gift that I want to give to everyone else that I feel like doesn't feel like they have the opportunities. My business is focused on LGBTQ entrepreneurs who run mission-driven businesses. I feel like they haven't been given the ability or seen people like them to be able to build businesses in a way that allows them to really grow and flourish in a way that I think other people have been. So it's this gift of choice and freedom that I really want to provide to people. And that creates intention. Like I said before, there's a lot of stories that were told. There's this concept around hustle culture that you have to kill yourself every day of the week in order to build a successful business. And that's not the case. Like we can get rid of, we know that we're more efficient when we do go to the gym, when we do get proper sleep, when we do get proper nutrition, and we're not running ourselves ragged, or we're not giving so much of ourselves or devaluing so much of ourselves that we're not taking care of ourselves. So it's about this balance of growth, taking care of yourself, making sure that you're living the life that you want, you're building a business that you want, which will then allow you to take care of your clients and serve them in the best way that you can.
Yeah, I love how you support the LGBTQ community. It's so important to me as well to see
Mm,
people represented in that community as entrepreneurs, because I've seen so many times over the years that not happen. And
right.
it hurts my heart, honestly, to
Mm,
see like the feeling that we can't be authentic and be who we are to grow a brand as well. And
yeah.
I find that to just so totally not be true. Like
Hmm.
when my clients have taken that perspective and really supported or even just believed in themselves enough to share pieces of
Hmm.
themselves that they've hidden for so long, it ends up like opening up this whole new door, to a
Exactly.
community that they can flourish in finally.
Yeah, I loved your episode on the unspoken secrets of marketing around storytelling, right? Being able to tell your story and open up and be open and vulnerable around who you are. That is so important. And that's an asset, it's not a liability. Who you are, who you serve, and being able to really dig into that is going to be an asset in your business because it keeps you focused on who you serve, your ideal client, and also what you're going to do for them. So you're not trying to do many things or be certain things to other people. You can be yourself. Another one of my mantras is I'm valuable as I am. Being able to realize that I don't need to be a certain person for anybody. I don't need to do a certain thing. I can show up as myself and who I want to be and what I want to do, and people will come in that business model. And so you have to know, again, you have to know who you are. You have to do the work around who you are, who you want to serve, and then have the courage to really be open and vulnerable and tell your story. Make sure that you are expressing the real you in the world so people can find you and you can have alignment in that way.
Yeah, and it is like such a gift. I think, I was on
Mm.
talking with somebody prior to this, and she was sharing, at her age, how many people she didn't see, like at my age of her life, be able to voice. She specifically was focused on giftedness with highly sensitives.
Mm.
And she was explaining to me how the dichotomy that she saw in her career development, that now is starting to like, the gap is starting to close, luckily. And she's been a part of that. And I find your examples have done exactly that for so many communities. And what you stand for and who you support really inspires, I mean, me, but also
Mm.
hopefully all of our listeners, to stand in our authenticity and
Yeah.
support people that we believe in, not just for the cash, at the end of the
Right.
day.
Right. I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that. And that's been really the important impetus of starting my own podcast, Mission Driven Business Podcast. And so that people can see people like them and who look like them, who have their same history. So I make sure I want a diverse set of entrepreneurs who are sharing their stories, both successes and failures, because we can all learn. And it's so important to know that we get to take what we like and leave the rest. But it's important to see other stories to know that you can do what they've done. Again, it goes back to my core value of leading by example. I want people to know that you can do this, and it is a gift. So you might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, yeah, like that we live in this time and we have this opportunity to
Mm.
grow brands
Mhm.
online or in person, right? And we have this like amazing moment. And then all of the days that I feel tired or exhausted, I try to remind myself of that. I'm like, this was what I wanted, right? This is what I've asked
Mm.
for. And I think, and I'd love to know your experience in this, when money gets thrown at us or is maybe not working out the way that we want, we can tell ourselves stories like, this business isn't working, or should I walk away from this, and like doing this for 7 years, I remember asking myself, like, I don't even really believe in what majority of social media represents. And it wasn't until I started this podcast that people started to say, like, well, that's why you have to keep doing it, because you're the
Yeah.
only person out here, right? That's like talking about it like that. So I'd love
Yeah,
to know your perspective when you see that happen with some of your clients, if you ever do, and
for
when they're
sure.
so frustrated over money at times.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really goes back to what we talked about at the beginning is making sure that you're anchored in something. You are anchored in your mission, vision, and values because times are going to get tough. You are going to be frustrated. Things may not be going the way that you expect them. But if you have an anchor, if you know why you're doing this and are really dedicated to the reason why you're doing this and know where you're going, it'll get you through those hard times to keep pushing, to keep growing, or to iterate if you need to, right? You don't want to beat your head against the wall if it's not, you realize that you're going in the wrong direction. I always say you can change your mind, right? There's nothing set in stone. I think a lot of entrepreneurs that I've met with have this fear around making a decision because they think it's the final decision. I'm like, that's not how business works. You can go a certain direction and change your mind and go a different direction. But it's asking yourself the questions like you asked yourself, am I still doing the right thing? Am I going the direction that I want to go? And taking time out of the business so you can have an overview of the business itself and know where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do and see if that's still the direction that you want to go. It's so important to really do that assessment often and know that you get to build whatever you want. So you can change your directions, you can keep going, you can stop and take a break if you need to, if you're really frustrated and feel like you're not making the money that you want to make or you're making too much money and you're working too many hours. It also goes back to the balance we were talking about before. It's not just money. Money is important, but it's also your time. It's also your relationships. It's also your physical health. It's also your mental health. Being able to really balance all those things are important, and keeping those benchmarks in mind too when you're talking about, is this business working for me? There's a lot more to look at rather than just profit.
Yeah, yeah, it's such a good point. I always say entrepreneurship has been the greatest mirror that I could have given
Mm,
myself starting my business at, 22 years old. I was
yeah.
so young and I'm like, oh my gosh, like
You're
it's
still
sad,
young.
Yeah. I'm hopefully a little bit older now, but like older, wiser, right? With my
Hmm.
words or how I approach business because when I was so young, I was so money hungry. And that
Mm,
was a foundation of why I started in entrepreneurship, which now I'm grateful for because maybe I wouldn't have done it, if I
yeah.
knew all the
Yeah.
personal development work that would come with it. But it's been the greatest gift, as you are mentioning, to give myself.
I'm curious what changed or when it changed for you. Like you said, you came in money hungry and then something shifted. There's personal development. I know you've had a lot of trauma in your past, so I'm curious to hear what changed for you, when that changed.
It was actually during 2020, which I know a lot of
Mm,
people like pivoted then, but I had moved into my house with my fiance the week of the Philadelphia shutdown. And we were like, oh, now we're stuck in this house together for who knows how long. At first, we thought it would be a week, and then it's going on 6 months. And we're like, wow, we're
yeah.
starting to lose our goals. And I had to start to look at, okay, money isn't coming in, but what can I be doing every day? Like how I
Mm,
can lead by example, or how can I self improve? I was lucky to have a few clients that were staying with us, but everything that I had worked for up until that moment fell off.
wow.
So my identity couldn't be tied to the outcome of the income anymore.
Yeah.
And I had to find a different way to recreate myself. And that was a really amazing opportunity for me. A lot of therapy, then
Hmm.
coaching, after
Yeah.
that, to kind of put me back in the light. I like to say therapy's great, but I needed to get out of that cycle. I needed like the future of coaching.
Hmm.
And that was what's helped me so much. Just look back on my life and think about the person that I want to be as a business owner, in
Yeah.
this space, especially.
I love that. And I love, I can see you talking about it and you light up, even at this challenging moment, this challenging time, the good that came out of that. Like you said, an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to really dig into your mission, vision, and values, and also what you're trying to build, and continue to build a better thing, continue to be a better entrepreneur. Looking at them as opportunities, as hard as they are, is such an important shift in that mindset of saying, all right, yeah, it's not going to be easy. I'm going to get frustrated. I'm going to feel down. And that also means that I can create a change, the change that I need to help me get to the place that I want to be. And it sounds like you did.
Very lucky. And I think that there's something, with working business to business. And I would love to know your
Mm.
opinion on this, but seeing how other business owners handled trials and tribulations or were navigating situations, the more clarity that I found within myself, the more clarity I was able to discover like within the clients at that time, or share insight in a much lighter lens, right? That could maybe
Yeah.
help them shift or grow in their own sense, which prior, I was only thinking about like, how am I proving my worth in this company? Now
Yeah.
it's become so much more, that I can give them, that's like not just money or cash flow through the marketing.
Hmm. Yeah, it's one of the many, many things that I love about what I do is I get to really be on this journey with business owners from the beginning. A lot of people come to me at the very beginning, like the woman I was speaking with today. Some people come in where they've already realized that they have been in business, but they haven't built the business that they want and having to change that, or they're at an inflection point in their business and getting to see them come through the other side and help them come through the other side. Really, as you said, give them a mirror to look at themselves and look at what they're trying to build and saying, taking a step back and saying, okay, does this look the way that you want it to look? And if not, let's change it. It's been one of the really freeing things about not only my own business, but watching entrepreneurs make that transition and take those opportunities and be able to really create businesses that they love, that have the impact that they want, that gives them the life that they want. You can have it all. You can have a profitable business. You can have an impactful business. You can have a business that allows you to work the hours that you want to work. And helping people get there has been such a fantastic gift for me to really realize that I'm helping these people change the world. That ripple effect. I'm helping these people have a ripple effect for their clients, and their clients have a ripple effect for other clients. Being able to watch that has been such a fun opportunity that I'm very, very grateful for.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. And even earlier today, I was talking with a newer client of mine, and like my clients now that I've been able to attract and even guests on this show, like have evolved so much over the years. And one of
Mhm.
my clients said, "Do you have an executive assistant yet?" And I said, "No, I'm thinking about hiring one in the new year." And he was like, "I mean this with so much love. I really want to connect you with this person because I know you would benefit from more time, like to
Wow.
yourself where you're working in the business." And that was such an aha moment for me. Like my clients almost mentoring me as well. Like what a miraculous exchange of energy, right? Like
Right.
to be able to receive that, where younger me maybe would have been like, "Oh my gosh,
Right.
he thinks I'm working too much," or all of these stories that we tell ourselves. And I was like, what a gift, right? That he
Mhm.
connected me with this person. She seems very aligned. I'm probably going to hire her next week because I need
Wow.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that's an
it's been a
important part
really,
about, yeah, I think that's an important part about this growth mindset of being like, I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to know everything, especially in people in our position where we're coaching other people. It's a partnership. We're learning from everyone. We're learning from each other. We're learning from podcast episodes. We're continuing to learn. And if we can take this mindset of, I don't need to know everything, I can make mistakes, I can learn, I can iterate, and being able to have that humility around saying, oh, maybe I do need an assistant. Maybe it is time, rather than get defensive or have to defend yourself. That's such a good growth pivot for a lot of people that I imagine I know a lot of people haven't gotten to yet. So congrats to you for being humble enough and having the courage to be like, yeah, maybe this is something I should consider and do differently.
it's so funny because he's not the only person. My loving mother was also like, "You need some help." She's like, "You've been working nonstop." But it's a good thing to have people that I've surrounded myself with, right? That can
Hmm.
give me that feedback. And like you
Hmm.
said, through some of the personal development work, just accept it instead of fighting it.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of coaches. It's why I do what I do, but also why I have my own business coach. It's also why I have my own therapist, why I have my own group sessions, right? It's because I know that I have blind spots and I can't see everything. And there are people in my life, including my husband, who help me see things differently and see things that I may not see. And having the humility to say, okay, maybe I should consider this, or having the courage to say, this doesn't quite fit, right? You can try things on and say, this doesn't, maybe I want to work more. One of the big examples, when we were in New Zealand, I tend to check my email when we're just sitting on the couch, not really doing anything. And my husband was saying, well, it feels like you're working on vacation. I'm like, well, maybe, but we're not doing anything. And this is going to help me when I get back to not come back to a mess. And that's going to make me feel way better than the time that I'm taking, right? Obviously, it can't be completely the other way. It can't be working the entire time. But to me, it's about the balance that we've always been talking about the entire episode of knowing what I want to build and what I want to do and being intentional about the decisions that I make, and then being able to open myself up to feedback and continue to do the personal work around what am I trying to build? Where am I trying to go? Who am I trying to impact? And really making that assessment over and over and over again to keep building towards what I want to build.
Yeah, when you love what you do, it doesn't always feel like that's why it's easy to become like my
Right,
coach will be like, you're really easy to fall back into workaholism. And I was like, well, I do really love it. Like I love helping people. And she was like, "But balance, right? The whole theme of
right.
the episode. So yeah, Brian, this has been so amazing. Is there anything else that you want to share with us before you tell us how we can all stay connected and hopefully work with you in the future too?
No, I think we've covered a lot of great things. This balance piece, being able to balance mindset and also balance your books. I'm going to steal, like I said, I'm going to steal that. But
Good.
my also most important takeaway for people is like you can build whatever you want. This being an entrepreneur, building a business is a gift, and you can build whatever you want, and it's going to be able to give you the life that you want, the impact that you want. But you have to really take it by the horns and say, this is what I'm trying to build and this is what I'm trying to do. So if you're trying to build a business, you can do it. There are people like you that have done this before. We have plenty of examples. Remember, just really be conscious and intentional about building whatever you want.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. And how can our listeners get in touch with you? And of course, we'll have all of your links in the show notes below for our
Yeah.
multitaskers.
My website is btfinancial.com, and you can find me there. My podcast is where I like to spend a lot of my time. Like I said, give people examples of other people like them building successful businesses. It's called Mission Driven Business, where you can download it on your favorite podcast platform. Also, I have a blog and most active on social on Instagram, so you can find me there as well. BT Financial.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Brian. This has been such a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me.